Tonight you're going to do something almost none of your ancestors did. You're going to lie flat on your back, close your eyes, and stay unconscious for 8 hours straight. It feels normal. It feels obvious. It isn't. By the end of this video, you'll never look at your own bedroom the same way again. For most of human history, people slept sitting up, backs against walls, knees pulled to their chest, heads resting on curved wooden blocks instead of soft pillows. So here's the question that should be bothering you right now. Why would anyone choose to sleep sitting up when lying flat is so much more comfortable? Historians have 3 obvious explanations. All 3 are wrong. Let's start with the one almost everyone assumes first. The beds were too short. Walk into a preserved medieval home and the bed frame barely fits an adult lying flat. Easy conclusion, right? People must have slept curled up because the furniture simply wasn't big enough. Except that doesn't hold up. Archaeologists have found the exact same upright posture in places with plenty of room to stretch out. Open desert camps, wide cave floors, entire rooms with nothing but empty space around the sleeper. If short furniture was the reason, upright sleep should have disappeared the moment people had room to lie down. It didn't. So scratch that theory. Something else is going on. Second explanation. Maybe it was medical advice. This one has real evidence behind it, at least partially. Physicians for centuries genuinely believed lying flat caused problems. Some medieval and early medical texts warned that sleeping fully horizontal could disturb digestion or make it harder to breathe when someone was congested. That's a real historical belief. Doctors really did prescribe propped upright sleep for the sick. But here's the problem. Healthy people did it too. Soldiers with nothing wrong with their lungs. Children. Entire villages with no illness at all, night after night, generation after generation. If it was only about health, only sick people should have slept that way. They didn't. Something bigger was happening, and it wasn't medicine. Third explanation. Maybe it was status, fashion, a cultural trend that just stuck. This one seems to fit at first, especially in Egypt. Wealthy households owned carved headrests, some made from ivory, inscribed with protective prayers. Beautiful objects, clearly valuable. It's tempting to assume elevated upright sleep was a luxury trend, something rich families did to show off. But look past the palaces. The exact same posture, the same propped, half-seated sleep shows up in the poorest households too. No ivory, no carvings, just a rock, a wall, or a folded arm to lean against. Rich and poor on opposite ends of the ancient world converging on the same strange habit. That's not fashion. Fashion doesn't survive across every social class, every continent, and thousands of years, without a single exception. So if it wasn't furniture, and it wasn't medicine, and it wasn't fashion, what was actually driving this? The answer starts somewhere you wouldn't expect. Not a bedroom, not a palace, a fire dying down to embers somewhere in the open dark. Picture a small group of hunter-gatherers settling in for the night. No walls, no locked door, just flickering light retreating into shadow, and whatever is out there in that shadow, watching. Waiting, deciding whether to come closer. Anthropologists who actually measured sleep in modern hunter-gatherer communities, instead of assuming what it looked like, found something unsettling. Sleep in these groups is short, fragmented, staggered. Someone is almost always at least partly awake. Not because they're restless, because the group, collectively, is designed never to go fully unconscious at the same time. That's not a coincidence. That's a survival system, encoded into an entire community. An upright posture fits that system almost perfectly. Sitting against something solid keeps the head elevated, ears more exposed to sound, the body already halfway to standing. A lying body takes precious seconds to react. A sitting body can be on its feet before it even finishes waking up. But that still isn't the full answer, because here's what should be bothering you. If this was purely a defense strategy against predators, why does the exact same upright, alert style of sleep show up in places with no predators at all? Sailors on ships, soldiers in trenches, travelers on crowded transport, even babies drifting off upright in slings and carriers worldwide in cultures with no shared history whatsoever. Predators can't explain all of that, which means the real answer isn't about what's outside the fire, it's about what's happening inside the human brain itself. In 2016, sleep researchers at Brown University put this to the test in a laboratory. And what they found should unsettle you. When people sleep in an unfamiliar place, for the very first night, one half of the brain doesn't fully power down like the other half does. It stays measurably more alert, more reactive to sound, more ready to snap back to consciousness. Scientists call it the first night effect. Essentially, part of your brain is standing guard while the rest of you sleeps. That's not ancient history. That's happening in hotel rooms tonight. Now connect that to everything you just heard. Upright sleep, propped against a wall, head elevated, one part of the body still half alert, may not be an ancient habit that eventually disappeared. It may be the most visible expression of something built directly into the architecture of the human brain. A watch system so old, so deeply wired, that it doesn't need walls, weapons, or predators to switch on. It just needs uncertainty. Fire, open ground, illness, war, travel. A body sleeping upright wasn't choosing comfort. It was staying one heartbeat away from waking up completely. And somewhere along the way, humans built something almost nobody in that ancient world had: total safety. Locked doors, solid walls, silence engineered by architecture instead of watched for by a half-conscious brain. Enough safety that an entire species could finally do something it had almost never done before. Lie all the way down. Go all the way unconscious. Stay that way for 8 uninterrupted hours. Lying flat isn't the ancient default you assumed it was. It's the reward. So tonight, when you lie back and let your whole body go still, remember what that stillness is actually announcing. Somewhere back in the dark of human history, someone was still sitting upright, back against the stone, one half of their mind still standing guard. And tonight, for the first time in the story of your entire species, you get to let all of it sleep.